There is one ancient anomaly, which, although remaining a complete mystery as to their origin, can be located within a majority of Earth's oldest unexplained ruins. No matter the distance, no matter how far they separated, either by land, sea, or deserts, this strange prehistoric signature has somehow continued to appear. For they, in fact, not a mere coincidence, which many a funded academic would have you believe, but undeniable evidence of the past existence of a now lost civilization. One whom, as I have mentioned before, not only responsible for the construction of countless, completely baffling, and in some cases utterly perplexing, and simply ridiculously sized structures, but were left by tools and machines once used, which were so advanced and capable of such incredible feats that the only proof required for their existence, the sheer accomplishments in which they were once facilitating themselves. With many places around the world where these stones were left unliberated and suddenly abandoned, perhaps due to the cataclysmic event which buried much of the ancient world under mud, have these scoop marks once somehow made into solid stone in abundance. This miraculous ancient tool leaving deep scars and gashes within the incredibly dense pink Aswan granite, widely known as some of the toughest stone on Earth, resulting in a finish which could lead one to believe this device once capable of turning granite into ice cream, allowing the builder to seemingly scoop away the stone until reaching the desired width, height, and weight. Yet Aswan's quarry, as mentioned, not the only place seemingly abandoned whilst workers were midway through using these puzzling contraptions. Countless prehistoric places from Tiwanaku to Stonehenge to Peru to Russia, all too exhibit these mystifying scoop marks. With some places like that of the Bazda Cave, an ancient megalithic quarry far away from the mainstream eye and completely protected from weather erosion, has thus been left with walls drenched in countless perfectly preserved tool marks, leaving an array of varying fingerprints, many of which I have connected to countless sites worldwide in previous videos, proving with overwhelming corroborative evidence they, in fact, all the work of the same, or possibly even perhaps multiple overlapping ancient advanced global civilizations. Thus, these scoop marks can enable one to attribute some of the most compelling and also academically controversial sites to this completely ignored and often suppressed advanced ancient civilization, in particular sites such as that of the aforementioned Stonehenge, with them also found to have been utilized at sites such as that of Machu Picchu, Sacsayhuaman, Pumapunku, located at sites throughout Utah, Wyoming, among many other states. They are even to be found in the strangest and most incredibly remote areas throughout prehistoric Russia. Thus, they are, in reality, signatures left by the true creators of the ancient world. These identifiable marks left by tools once utilized to cut the many ancient trilithons and megalithic blocks which make up many of our planet's most marvelous ruins. They were not the work of separate primitive ancestors. We could, however, due to the clear use of the tools upon the gargantuan unfinished obelisk itself, be looking at the signature left by the actual original pyramid builders themselves. At the very least, the evidence suggests that whoever the civilization that built Stonehenge, whoever was cutting the unfinished obelisk, whomever built Pumapunku, and shaped and formed the many mammoth stone fortresses of Peru, with these activities even reaching into the deepest, darkest corners of the Russian wilderness, to be found even among the megaliths of Gornaya Shoria, among the Ural Mountains, and one of the most remote sites on Earth, were in fact all the work of the same civilization. What process was involved in leaving such deep, significant cuts into the hardest types of stones known to man? How could a tool leave a mark as if it were cutting said stone like butter? Were they using some form of matched resonance frequency to alter the stone's makeup on a molecular level, perhaps even on an atomic level, literally rearranging the atoms of the rock, and indeed literally turning it from solid stone into an ice cream like sludge? Are the scoop marks not only proof of a now lost, yet once highly advanced civilization, but evidence that they were indeed in possession of technologies so advanced even modern man would perceive them as futuristic? For in reality, we have not yet developed or even know of a conceptual stone-cutting technology similar in ability to whatever our ancient lost ancestors had access to. I will of course keep you all updated on any of my future finds which exhibit these unique and identifiable tool marks, so that we may hopefully one day correctly identify the origins of the countless ruins which over the years have been incorrectly attributed to the wrong individuals due to this outdated, rigid, and simply absurdly small window of academically permitted historical chronology for the development of human civilization as a whole. I will forever find the evidence for these ancient high technologies' past existence incredibly compelling. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to support my controversial research here upon YouTube. Thank you. Mohenjo-Daro, once the largest ancient civilization to be found anywhere throughout the entire Indus Valley. Yet its vast cityscapes had lay unknown and undiscovered for over 3 millennia. When in 1921, whilst believing he was excavating the remnants of a Buddhist stupa, Rakal Das Banerjee would discover what is now believed to have been the home, and indeed the final resting place of some 40,000 souls. Rakal Das Banerjee, with the help of John Marshall and Ernest Mackay, would over the following years slowly excavate the site, revealing the incredibly ancient undisturbed remains of not only the city itself, but nearly all of its past inhabitants, all of whom, just like that of the more well-known Pompeii, lay strewn across the streets and dwellings, clearly having endured a sudden yet mysterious catastrophic event, or rather incident, which had claimed the lives of many thousands of the city's inhabitants in an instant. Quote, "People were just lying unburied in the streets of what was once a sprawling metropolis. These skeletons clearly thousands of years old." End quote. Taken from the conclusions of the Indian Archaeological Society. One of the puzzling things which the team found strange was the lack of any later disturbances of the remains, which, although one would expect to find remains left untouched and perfectly preserved in such locations as the aforementioned Pompeii. No volcanic activity or indeed ash plumes have ever been present to facilitate this, yet thousands of individual skeletons, clearly many thousands of years old, lay scattered across the streets of this sprawling ancient metropolis, with some even still holding hands, also having suffered no visible or identifiable injuries. Yet, perhaps most intriguing of all, no scavenging from any nearby animals had later occurred, as if they and the entire area had been avoided. The plot would thicken once analysis of the remains would reveal that they were also incredibly radioactive, with Russian researchers finding radiation levels within some remains still 50 times that of background levels, with the team noting that similar readings had been seen before, yet they were from such locations as Ground Zero within Nagasaki. An additional caveat, which may further indicate what could have happened here, are anomalies later found between the Ganges and the mountains of Rajmahal, which have now been demonstrated to have long ago somehow been subjected to intense heat, with huge masses of ancient, possibly pre-flood walls and foundations in the area once somehow fused together, with many still exhibiting this evidence of an ancient vitrification event into the present day. Did a nuclear explosion somehow go off over this ancient city within Pakistan many thousands of years ago? Well, this is indeed the astounding conclusion of British researcher David Davenport, whom after having spent over 12 years studying ancient Hindu scripts in an effort to unravel Mohenjo-Daro's mystery, would publish these startling findings within his book, Atomic Destruction in 2000 BC, Milan, Italy, 1979. Quote, There was an epicenter about 50 yards wide where everything was crystallized, fused, or melted. 60 yards from the center, the bricks are melted on one side, indicating a blast. The horrible, mysterious event of 4,000 years ago that leveled Mohenjo-Daro was recorded in an old Hindu manuscript called the Mahabharata. It states as follows: "White-hot smoke that was 1,000 times brighter than the sun rose in infinite brilliance and reduced the city to ashes," the account reads. Water boiled. Horses and war chariots were burned by the thousands. The corpses of the fallen were mutilated by the terrible heat so that they no longer looked like human beings. The description concludes, "It was a terrible sight to see. Never before have we seen such a ghastly weapon." End quote. David Davenport would declare in 1996, within the conclusion of his in-depth research, that the city was instantly destroyed around 2000 BC. Interestingly, the ancient texts also repeatedly refer to vimanas, flying cars, which flew under their own power and were also utilized during the event. Davenport's intriguing theory has predictably been met with intense and varying forms of interest from the scientific community. Nationally known expert William Sturm, for example, said, quote, "The melting of bricks at Mohenjo-Daro could not have been caused by a normal fire." With Professor Antonio Castellani, a space engineer located in Rome, adding, quote, "It's possible that whatever did happen at Mohenjo-Daro was not a natural phenomenon." Was there an ancient nuclear explosion within modern-day Pakistan? Were there many of these similar events throughout the world? It would indeed explain the many other ancient and seemingly melted, fused, or oftentimes vitrified ruins I have previously identified and shared from all over the planet. What happened to Mohenjo-Daro, and indeed its thousands of inhabitants? It is a mystery which I find highly compelling. There are many astounding ancient wonders still to be found, scattered all over India. Many of which I have long decried are merely claimed as that of another's creation and accomplishments. These academic alibis, as I often point out, lacking any substantive proof for such declarations to have ever been made officially. Neither a valid explanation as to how these achieved, nor types of tools ever located which they must have utilized in creating them. Yet, I feel most crucial of all, lacking any demonstrable proof exhibited or even conceptualized as to how our more recent, more primitive ancestors accomplished such feats. Often overlooked, sometimes ignored, yet it never provided, all in favor of the official yet clearly faulty narrative. This lack of an explanation, as if it all a cruel trick, provided to the masses by the exact same individuals whom are tasked and funded to provide just this. It is, as mentioned in reality, an elaborate conspiracy in and of itself, one created to obscure the true story of these ancient achievements. A hidden world just waiting for us to unravel, to tell us a far greater, far more profound, and indeed far deeper story of our past, but even possessing secrets, secrets etched into their very being, their aesthetic and original purpose of design. A message left for the time when we have the eyes to see it, one which may finally reveal to us all, once and for all, just who we are and where we came from. And our next site of intrigue is of no exception. Known as Lohagad, or the Iron Fortress, it is located over 1,000 meters above sea level and some 3 kilometers from the once inexplicably yet perfectly sculpted Baja Cave system. It unarguably yet another feather in the cap of this now lost, yet once world-going civilization, which although many would indeed still persist in claiming their works a mere 1,000 years old. Lohagad, for example, although handed down through varying dynasties within this tiny window of the studied ages, shares all these same hallmarks, which alas, Due to this tale told by the victor, yet another long-lost ruin successfully hidden in plain sight. The entire structure constructed without the use of mortar, with perfectly placed yet seemingly random cut blocks, creating a borderline polygon finish, which, like that of the many ancient fortresses I have found and shared here upon our channel throughout ancient Peru, for example, also exhibiting the same uncanny mastery of these ancient builders in effortlessly incorporating the builds into the surrounding environment, ingeniously utilizing natural mountain faces and hillsides to their strategic advantage. This mastery of gravity and indeed stone masonry is an enigma which had long baffled all who had encountered these structures. This healthy curiosity remained until very recently into the modern age, as for some possibly insidious reason, subsequently and systematically pinned to civilizations found only within a permitted timeline of events, attributed to known, yet nearly always clearly incapable groups of ancestors. Thus, the true mystery surrounding how they have survived so long, how old they could really be, or indeed how they were once constructed, for one reason or another, the powers that be have endeavored to keep this truth hidden, to quash the mystery and curiosity therein. Thus, they are mostly never realized, nor truly appreciated for what they really are. Who built Lohagad? When did they build it? How did they build it? Is it as the characteristics and similarities presented, with its hard-to-reach yet strategically placed location, its mind-boggling accuracy, and its naturally blending construction method, all proof of a pre-flood ruin? More study into its possible true age and prehistoric origins is surely needed to fully establish just who built this place. I will keep you posted on any further developments. It is a possible pre-flood ruin, which I find highly compelling.